Okay, here we are back. He's the Democratic governor of Pennsylvania, Josh Shapiro. He's an MSNBC contributor and the Bulwark's managing editor, Sam Stein, and she is a journalist and author of the book Second Class Batya Ungar-Sargon. Okay. Here are the questions directly from the people. It's like the People Choice Awards, but with questions. First one is for you, Governor. Do Democrats have a problem with courting male voters? How can they win them back? Well, I did see Nancy Pelosi's comment today after the vote with the brouhaha with Schumer was that they should have listened to the women. Are we going to break down on men-woman thing now in the Democratic Party?
I don't think we should. I think it's about giving everybody the freedom to chart their own course, the opportunity to succeed, lifting everybody up, not trying to create others, not trying to slice and dice the electorate. I'll tell you the first thing I did, Bill, when I was...
And that goes racially, too?
I think it's for everybody, absolutely. First thing I did when I was governor, literally after taking the oath of office, I signed my first executive order doing away with the college degree requirement for 92% of state
I love that. I had done bits on that myself.
Because I want people to have a shot. And then we followed that up by increasing our VOTEC budget in high schools by 50%. And get this, 81 new apprenticeship programs, everything from dairy herd management to welding. And we've got 12,400 new Pennsylvanians going through apprenticeships. We don't care if you're male, female, black, white, doesn't matter. We want you to have opportunity in Pennsylvania. We want to lift everybody up.
But the question was, do Democrats have a problem with male voters? But that's going to be the answer no matter what. All right. Was it inappropriate for the audience, this is for you, Batya, to boo J.D. Vance at the Kennedy Center last night? No, it's free speech. Okay? Come on.
She didn't even get to answer.
You're right. I'm so sorry. You're right. I tell you.
What, you were comfortable watching that?
I didn't see it. What happened?
They booed him. They called him like a series of expletives. He was with his wife. I thought it was kind of gross. I don't know what you guys thought.
I mean, it would be lovely if we didn't live in that country, but that ship has sailed. And you know, it happens to the other side, too. People have been at dinner, and people will surround them and force them to, including from the left. I mean, we saw that during the Black Lives Matter riots. People would be having dinner, and people would, you know, come on, get out there. I'm like, I'm having dinner. Can you wait? I mean,
well, these were definitely leftists booing the vice president.
I understand. Oh, no, they're terrible at it. Did you see the Love is Blind story?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That was bad.
Okay, so that's it. I've never seen this show. Have you ever seen the show?
You've never seen? Oh.
No. Good. Yeah. Good. If you had said yes, you would have lost my vote immediately. But it's anyway. So she's at the altar, and she jilts her fiance at the altar because it didn't seem like he did a hell of a lot. He apparently didn't do enough thinking about Black Lives Matter. He asked him, what do you think about that? Not at the altar, that would be inappropriate, but I guess sometime during the courtship, and he said, I don't know, I haven't thought about it that much. I mean,
don't want to like get into like the premise of Love is Blind, but they also just met each other like 4 weeks ago and proposed, you know? There might have been some extenuating circumstances beyond the politics.
But that was what she said.
I know, I'm saying it might be a fig leaf.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. They just met each other 4 weeks ago.
I'm saying that you don't care enough about Black Lives Matter,
but I really don't. I don't even know you.
You have a small dick. Okay.
You need to put that ring on or whatever it was.
What does the panel think of the Trump administration gutting and potentially eliminating the Department of Education? I'm still thinking about it, honestly.
Hey, you take this one.
Here's what I care about. I got kids with special needs. I've got kids who are coming from poor families who rely on this funding from the federal government to have a shot in life. I said before, I want every child of God to have the freedom to chart their own course, the opportunity to succeed. The federal government made a compact with those kids. I hope they don't break that compact with those kids.
I guess what the question, though, really is the Department of Education doing that? Is it now, they probably are doing some good work. I'm sure they are. What is their budget, like $200 billion or something? But it also looks like some of these places are just funneling money to people who are not solving the problem. I mean, I saw that story about the $20 billion that went out the door after Biden lost the EPA. It wasn't the EPA, or was it the EPA? But so there was $20 billion that they shoveled to groups because Trump was coming in and they were going to reverse all this stuff. And the supposedly environmental groups, and they were not really environmental groups, and they had no experience in doing it. Like I said before, I care about the plastics. Do I think this money was going to get rid of the plastics in my brain? I do not. So I am skeptical of the Department of Education, and I think every Democrat who runs really needs to take on this issue, because that's your portfolio, education. You've owned it, and the results aren't good.
Well,
Kids isn't.
The education standards.
Kids isn't learning.
Kids are not.
Kids isn't
not
learning.
it.
I think through all this, I'm sorry, Sam.
No,
were you
I'm sorry.
gonna-
I will say it's clear that our education achievements are not where they need to be, right? Like, we look at any comparison to any other country, we're just not keeping up. The question is, absent that funding, would it be worse, right? We don't know. This money, if it can get funneled back into the states, I'm assuming there are some Democrats who say, good, keep the top lines at where they are and we can use it to our benefits. But this money was also used to set education standards, to study how to do better curriculums, to figure out how to recruit teachers in a comprehensive, thorough way. And so I don't know every program that they are cutting right now, but the idea that there won't be any adverse consequences seems not logical.
Of course not, because that's what they do. They blow everything up first. That's what I don't get about this.
I think they're going about it wrong. First off, I think it's important that we support the American people, not the American institutions. You are right that there is waste, there is fraud, there is abuse in these institutions. It should be rooted out. It's one of the reasons why when I was a county executive of Pennsylvania's third largest county, we did zero-based budgeting. We didn't go in with a hatchet. We literally went in and said, your budget's zero. Build it up to where it needs to be. And you know what happened? Some agencies were reduced. Some agencies got a lot more because it was mission driven. I think we've got to focus on meeting the mission, meeting the goals, and then driving the funding out to meet those goals.
Is the Democratic Party too much in the pocket of the teachers union?
No, I think the Democratic Party cares deeply about making sure these children get a shot in life. I certainly care about that. And I'm not suggesting that everything the Department of Education does is wise.
I'm talking about unions now, the teachers union, because I think like during COVID, didn't the teachers union keep the schools closed way too long?
Look, we partnered with our teachers unions in Pennsylvania to increase the number of teachers we have in the classrooms, to reduce class sizes, and to improve outcomes for kids. I think there's ways to work with the teachers unions to make progress for our children.
Okay, what does the panel think of Trump speaking at the DOJ, that's the Department of Justice, a rare move for a president, where he reiterated his call for retribution against his political enemies? I don't like it. I mean, jail talk.
It was crazy.
Not a big fan. Yeah. Not a big fan of lock her up and everything that came after it, and anybody I don't like, and 60 Minutes has got to go to jail, and you know, it's.
This one was really wild, and I say that having watched hundreds of these speeches, but to go to the Department of Justice, which is fairly unprecedented, not totally unprecedented. I mean, people go there, but to give a political speech like that at the DOJ and to say, I'm the chief law enforcement officer of this country, I'm going to prosecute my enemies, CNN and MSNBC should be illegal, and then tell two random stories about Bobby Knight. Like, it was just, I mean, it did. He was like, just went on these asides about Bobby Knight, and you're sitting there like, what is going on? And then you realize this is the president. But I was troubled by it because obviously he looks at the Department of Justice as his personal law enforcement agency, and that's not what it is.
And you know what they would say is that's what they were doing to me.
Yeah.
That's what the Biden Justice Department.
I don't know.
Bill,
Did you watch Merrick Garland? Did you watch Merrick Garland?
Do you think that's true? You think that's not a false?
Do you not think that's true?
I don't think. No, I think there is such a thing as a Trump Justice Department, and he thinks there should be. I don't think there was a Biden Justice Department so much because they went after their own people.
But you
they
just
indicted
think
Hunter Biden.
You
They
just
indicted
think it's
Hunter
an
Biden.
accident that they indicted him on 91 counts counts, and then as soon as he became president, they all just evaporated. Turns out there was no there for any of the 91 counts, and that was not politically motivated.
I don't think they should have gone after everything. I think they had every right to look into the Russia connection. He did some of these things publicly, in the open. Russia, if you're listening, help me out with the election. His campaign manager was meeting with GRU
He was indicted on 91
agents.
counts that disappeared the minute he became president.
Probably because he ordered them disappeared.
What?
What are we talking about, 91 counts?
It was 91 indictments. He didn't order anyone. The judges themselves simply stopped.
When he became president?
Yes.
You don't see a connection?
Well, that's big.
What do you mean? You think he was... Judge Cannon was taking orders from him?
They disappeared.
Do I think judges are taking orders?
They disappeared because there's a statute that says a sitting president cannot be prosecuted.
No,
Right.
they
No, that's what it
disappeared
is.
because...
No, that
that's
is what
not
it is.
true at all.
Yes,
They
that's
were-
what the Supreme Court
Well, you
ruled.
are an attorney general of a state. You probably have.
I mean, look, I didn't see the president's comments today, and I think this is obviously. I hear the different opinions. Here's what I'll tell you: I'm a twice elected attorney general of Pennsylvania. You have the power when you're a prosecutor to take away someone's liberty, take away someone's freedom, ruin their reputation and their careers. There can be no room for politics in that. There can't even be a room for the appearance of politics in that. That's what worries me. When anyone, Democrat or Republican, injects politics into prosecution, that's a dangerous thing for us.
So, Governor, does that mean you think that did happen under the last administration?
I'm making a general point here that I think we've got to make sure that whoever is the executive, right, a governor, a president, that they do not interfere with the implementation and the prosecution and the work that goes on in a Justice Department, be it at a state level or at the federal level. I think that's really important to give people the confidence in knowing that the system is fair and the system is just and the law will be applied without fear or hate.
It's only March of 2025. You're going to get exhausted. All right, one last hard-hitting question for you. For Governor Shapiro, who would win in a fight between the Philly fanatic and Gritty? I don't know who even Gritty is. Who's Gritty?
Shit, that's a tough call. That's the hardest question you've asked me so far.
Gritty is
I mean, look, the fanatic is beloved, but Gritty's tough. I mean, he is tough.
His name is Gritty.
I think Gritty, and by the way, Gritty, you know, hockey, they do a lot of
that's
fighting there,
hockey,
not as much fighting in baseball. I'd have to give it to Gritty on that one.
All right, I'm going to answer this one as Bernie Sanders. This is bullshit. There are millionaires and billionaires. Thank you very much.